Hey everyone, TJ here, and this is it. I'm going to kickstart off my Monster Mania Spectacular. And of course, for those of you just tuning in, this is what I'm planning on doing. It's like every Friday night, every Sunday night, every Monday night, I'm going to release a review pertaining with any classics. I prefer classics. It's one of my favorite things. And of course, I said I'm going to do, like some Universal classics, like Dracula and Frankenstein. I'm also going to look at maybe some remakes, a little bit this and that, but anyway, let's hop into this. I originally was going to do Dracula today, but I decided, you know what, I think it's best to go back a little further, back to its origins. So, I'm talking about the silent era. That's right. So let's get a little history before I dive into the movie that I'm going to relate. And the earliest known horror films, I'm talking, late 1910s, early 20s. Around this time, this was known as the German Expressionist movement in Germany, where where some of these horror films were made. And if you're not familiar with that term, pretty much it was a revolutionary creative movement where they didn't have much to do. They had like an interesting art style with sharp edges and curves, like arches, kind of thing. It's really hard to describe. And some prime examples are kind of Dr. Caligari, and the movie I'm reviewing today, Nosferatu. And for those of you not familiar with this title, Nosferatu is technically the first Dracula film ever produced, actually. However, since they couldn't call it Dracula because Bram Stoker had already given the rights to Universal, in which they would eventually make Dracula several years later, so they decided to just change the name, called Nosferatu, which means plague carrier. But they kind of kept some of the similar characters that you would expect from the book, but the same characters like Renfield and Harker, but they can change up their names. But for instance, instead of Count Dracula, it's now Count Orlok, and Count Orlok is played by, in my opinion, one of the premier stars in this day. His name was Max Schreck, and he was not much known about him. All I know was that he was, I think he was like an aspiring stage actor, but then all of a sudden he was given a chance, hey, come make a movie, and pretty much, I don't know if anything happened to him after this movie, and pretty much this movie kind of made him a household name, and pretty much propelled him to iconic status. The character of Count Orlok, which completely bald, the pointed ears, almost the claw. It's so creepy, and he just did a phenomenal job in this movie. And the rest of the cast in this movie, they're pretty much unknowns, but they're some of the parts that came together. But Max Schreck was the real guy that kind of made this movie. And of course, that there's still, like I said, there's still characters that you would expect from the Dracula book, like Renfield. Renfield is still in there. Like you see a guy in the sound, eating the bug, it's Renfield, and of course all that. So what else can I say about this movie? Like I said, German Expressionist. The sets are pretty cool. They're like I said, this is a silent movie. There's absolutely no sound except for the orchestral music playing on a loop, and that just sets the tone. And to me, it just sends, ooh, I'm sitting here in a darkened out room. I'm watching a black and white movie, and ooh, I'm getting the chills. And this truly prominently is the earliest movie that you would expect, and it's a true classic, and I highly recommend it to anyone who wants to see this movie. And of course, if you want to know where you can get it, you can probably look it up on Amazon. I know there's several DVD versions. Someone told me you could prefer to get the Kino version, I think, because that has like better footage or something. I'm not too sure, but you can also find it on a DVD set like one of these like that I have. This is 50 Horror Classics with Lon Senior on the cover. I got this at Target, actually. You can probably find it at any our movie places, but and there's like a bunch of movies on here, including some silent movies. So what can I say? If you really want to see something, that's such deemed a classic, I'd say check it out. And this movie gets my overall rating of 8 out of 10. Let me know what you think. Monster Mass is going to continue, because remember, it's a whole month long of some of the creepiest things ever. So, would you mind? I got a rap problem to deal with.